What's up guys, T-Mart here, and man do I have an important Pokemon Go video for you guys today. There was a huge new update for Pokemon Go that added in some new features, took out some old ones, and there was a ton of balancing when it comes to different types of Pokemon attacks in this game. And honestly, it's changed the face of the battlefield. Like what used to be the best or one of the best Pokemon in the game has now been severely crippled, and other ones that were already good before have been pushed even higher, and it's absolutely insane. So we're going to go through and we're going to talk about everything that was changed. So first up, it looks like Niantic has actually switched up the Pokemon nests that are out there in the world. So if you guys don't know what a Pokemon nest is, it's not an official thing that's like marked in the game, but it's an area in the world that generally spawns a specific type of Pokemon. You'll have a little bit of variety, but like say you find a Charmander nest, which I've actually got a video coming out soon about this, it means that more often than not, it's going to spawn Charmanders in that area. Or you can have a Jinx nest or a Dratini nest or anything else like that. And apparently, a lot of the nests have been changed to different type of Pokemon. Like Central Park in New York City was a huge Pinsir nest. Like you saw Pinsers all over the place. And now today, after the update, you see Electabuzzes all over the place. So if you knew of any local nests to you, those may have been changed. I've seen some people on Reddit saying that like there used to be a Dratini nest and now it's an Eevee nest. And if that happened to me, I would be so pissed. But yes, just look out for that. It looks like they kind of switched those up a little bit. Now, next up, we have a huge update, but it's not necessarily good news, at least as of yet. So you guys know the tracker feature. When you look at your nearby Pokemon page, you see how many footsteps away they are. This feature worked for like 2 days after release, and it's been stuck with the 3-step glitch ever since, and it really, really stinks. Well, they actually took that out completely. You can still see nearby Pokemon, but it doesn't show any footsteps there. And obviously, it'd be nice that they fixed it. That's not necessarily fixing it, but at least they took it out because a buggy, non-working feature doesn't need to be in the game. So I'm hoping that what this means is they're taking it out temporarily to fix it, and then they're going to add it back in. They have made comments that they don't like people using sites like PokeVision and PokeHunter and stuff like that, and they think that it kind of takes some of the fun out of the game. But like, bro, if you don't even have a way for us to track in your game, how can you tell us not to track outside of it? You know what I mean? Otherwise, we're never going to find any Pokemon. So I really hope they get that figured out. Apparently, they turned off the tracker feature because it was putting too much stress on their servers with everybody else, you know, being online on the game and stuff like that. So hopefully they can iron that out and actually bring that into the game. We'll have to wait and see what happens. Now, next up, the last kind of like big game feature change that I've seen so far, apart from all of the like move balancing, is that they actually made it so you can no longer transfer favorited Pokemon, which is really, really nice. So, you know, before, even if you had a favorite, you could still transfer it by accident and then boom, poof, he was gone forever. Now, when you try to transfer while they're favorited, it's not going to let you, which is a really, really good feature. Now, finally, last but not least, let's look at the attacks that have been changed. So there are tons of attacks that have been changed here. Like I'm talking over 50, maybe close to 100 attacks that have been altered to either be better or worse. And we're going to go through the main kind of like highlights because there are a few really big, like really good Pokemon that were heavily affected by this. So that's what we're going to be talking about. If you guys want to see the list of every single attack that was changed, then I'll link that down in the description. But let's start off by talking about the most notable gainers. So the biggest attack gain out of everything was to Solar Beam. Solar Beam's damage was increased by 85%. Are you serious? That's huge. So any Pokemon that has Solar Beam is now almost twice as good in that large kind of like ultimate attack features. So, you know, I've got a couple Executors with it. I'm super psyched about that. If you guys have anything else, let me know what you have down in the comments. I'm assuming like Venusaur might have it. I'm trying to figure out who else would have it. But if you have a Pokemon with Solar Beam, it's going to be really good now. Next up, Hyper Beam had a 71% increase to its damage. So that's really, really big as well. My only Pokemon that have it, I believe, are my Raticates. A lot of Raticates end up getting Hyper Beam. So maybe that's something I need to look into potentially using. I haven't really used Raticate too much lately, but that's pretty good. Next up, Blizzard received a huge bonus at 67%. So Lapras, which was already the best Pokemon in the game, just got even better if you have Blizzard, so that's kind of unfair. Lapras is getting pretty OP at this point. Next up, Fire Blast had a 67% increase, which is really, really good for you Charizard and Arcanine fans. And I'm a little bit salty about this, I'm not gonna lie. So if you guys remember, we did that Charizard evolving with Chelsea recently, and she got Fire Blast instead of, I think it was Flamethrower. Flamethrower was the better one at that point in time. Now, just a day later, Fire Blast is significantly better. So she got essentially one of the best Charizards you could possibly have. So I'm a little bit salty about that. But if any of you guys have Pokemon with Fire Blast, that's really good news for you. Next up, Thunder had a 54% increase to its damage. So that's going to be really good for those guys with like Electabuzz and Jolteon that have that power. And then finally, last but not least, Hydro Pump had a 50% increase to its attack damage as well. So things like Blastoise, things like Vaporeon, stuff like that are going to be looking good. Now, next up, let's talk about the biggest losers, the most notable losers. I'm not trying to say that to be mean, but seriously, there were some titans of Pokemon that have been kind of tumbled now. I don't know, like I'm really surprised at what they did to these. So first of all, the biggest loser in the game is Psycho Cut. It's got a 53% decrease to its damage, and I would say the most notable Pokemon that has that is Alakazam. So Alakazam used to be a Pokemon that didn't really have a lot of HP, but it had a ton of attack. So it's kind of like, it's what you call a glass cannon, where it does a lot of attack, but it's easily defeated. Now, it doesn't really do that much attack anymore. And I've been really, really excited to get all those Abra Candies to get my Alakazam up. And Alakazam really isn't that great at this point in time. So that's kind of sad. Hopefully they'll bring him back in some way, shape, or form. Next up, Lick has a 50% decrease to its damage, and Body Slam has a 20% decrease to its damage. I'm sure you guys know who's affected by that. Snorlax. I mean, Snorlax is currently, or was, one of the best Pokemon in the game. He's got a ton of HP, and his attacks were really, really good. Granted, Lick was his second best short attack. Zen Headbutt's his best one, but still, a lot of people that had Lick, myself included, I mean, we destroyed people with Snorlax. He was really good, and now he's not going to be nearly as good with Lick or with Body Slam, which is pretty sad. And then finally, last but not least, the biggest loser overall. I think the Pokemon that was most affected by this, the one that went from the cream of the crop down to the dumps, is Vaporeon, because its Water Gun has seen a 40% decrease in damage, and its Aqua Tail has received a 10% decrease in damage. So, Vaporeon, with Water Gun and Aqua Tail, used to be one of the best Pokemon on the block. It wasn't quite as good as Lapras or as Snorlax or stuff like that, but it was easily attainable. Everybody can find EVs. They're pretty common. You can do the Rainer, you know, little Easter egg to bring it up to Vaporeon, and a lot of people got really, really good Vaporeons. There was Vaporeon spam everywhere. Every single gym usually had at least one, if not multiple Vaporeons in it. Now, Vaporeon really isn't that great. If you have a Vaporeon that has Hydro Pump, if you guys remember I said that received a 50% increase to its damage, so that's good, that's going to help you out. But still, Water Gun was Vaporeon's main kind of like quick attack where you do the most damage with it, and you know, that's been significantly nerfed. So Vaporeon's not looking too hot at this point in time. You guys may want to look into some other water Pokemon like Lapras or Blastoise or anything else you guys can get your hands on. So anyway, yeah, there you guys have it. Let me know what you guys think. I mean, I think this is kind of crazy. We have Pokemon attacks that are being either increased or decreased by over 50% in some cases, which is, it's crazy. Like, I'm really glad that Niantic is paying attention, and it seems like they're kind of, you know, gathering data and analyzing it, and they're trying to balance things out to make things more even. But holy cow, like, you guys saw in my last evolution video, I dumped some Stardust and Candy into my Vaporeon that had Water Gun and Aqua Tail and made him my first ever 2K CP, and now all of a sudden, he's kind of worthless, just like at the snap of a finger. So it's kind of scary to have stuff like this happening, and I don't know what Pokemon I should be investing in, because I don't know if a couple days down the line, they're going to be worthless. I don't know. It's kind of scary, but at least Niantic is paying attention. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'm going to catch you guys later. Peace out.